Coming to you from Tuacon Company Housing, it's day 4 and it's time for a quick strike. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dohyo. Today is of course a quick strike, a small, amuse-bouche, tapa-sized episode that we consume mid-Basho to keep us hungry for more sumo. And of course we will be discussing through day 4 of the May 2023 Basho, so if you have not watched through day 4 of the May Basho, stop! Watch it! And return to us. Yes, I know, this is a day earlier than normal for the quick strikes, but the way the week's schedule is shaking out, this seems to be the day I will have the most free time. So we will be doing a day 4, and we will see where the next quick strike shall come in. So although we're a day early, I think we can fairly say some people are looking great this tournament. Terunofuji, I was a little bit worried about coming into this tournament, but he has looked generally very strong. I know he hasn't faced necessarily the toughest opponents yet, but the fact that he could still rock that Kimedashi today against Tobizaru allayed a few fears of mine. So I'm hoping he's still going to be able to finish all 15 days, get 11-12 wins. Sekiwake, Wakamoto Haru, and Daisho are both looking amazing, and I am sorry to say that, I was expecting them to not do as well this tournament. Daisho has looked very strong, very consistent. He looks like he is ready for double-digit wins, and if he gets double-digit wins, I think there's a very good possibility for even if 10 wins would get him the Ozeki promotion. And I know, I keep underestimating Wakamoto Haru, but he has looked so good this tournament. Today against Kota Nwaka, I thought he was going to get his first loss, but he has managed to just have an incredible amount of stillness, amount of power, and just an amount of just creativity I was not expecting out of our oldest Sekiwake. Yes, he is a month older than Daisho, despite his relative newness to the top ranks. So I think we can say my prediction of 6 or 7 wins for Wakamoto Haru is very likely to not come true, which is awesome. Let's see him get double-digit wins and get further into the Ozeki conversation. I don't see a 13-2 out of Wakamoto Haru, but he is looking great so far. And we have 2 Maegashira on the undefeated list still. Now, Meisei at Maegashira 6, I think, will definitely be promoted a little more aggressively if he keeps this up. But 10 wins look very, very possible for him if he keeps looking like this. I know he hasn't faced any Sanyaku yet, but I'm pretty sure he will down the stretch. And of course, also at 4-0, the Yusho pick. Maegashira 14, Asanoyama. He is looking great. Now, the Kotoeko match, I thought personally should have gone to a rematch, but it went to Asanoyama, so I don't think anyone but Kotoeko is upset about that. He is looking great, and I think he's going to be in the Yusho race all the way till the final day. Also in the Sanyaku and looking very strong, Kiribayama and Hoshoryu both have a loss, but it wasn't like a loss I was too worried about, too upset about. Kiribayama was this close to beating Abi on that push, but Abi just managed to hang in the air for a little bit. Got the victory. And Hoshoryu has one of his, it's a Maegashira, let's lose sort of matches. So I would expect that both of them are going to keep their head on moving forward, and I still expect double-digit wins out of Kiribayama. Hoshoryu still, the error bars I think are between 9 and 12 wins. He looks healthy, he looks motivated, and if there aren't too many brain farts, I see him doing very well. Komasubi Kota Nwaka is looking very good this tournament, despite his loss today to Wakamoto Haru. Again, great match. I still feel very good about my Kota Nwaka prediction of 9 to 10 wins and starting to build Ozeki buzz. And also, a couple of guys who have not started that strong, but I'm not too worried about. Komasubi Shodai, 1-3, but he's been facing, of course, the meat grinder as the lowest-ranked Komasubi. So I think once he starts facing a few Maegashira, we're going to see him get a lot closer to the 8 wins than not. Still think it's very possible to see Shodai get 9 wins in this tournament. And Maegashira's Midori Fuji and Nishiki Fuji, the Isagahama boys. They're both 0-4 right now, but I don't think they've wrestled badly. I just think they are wrestling a little above their talent level right now. Midori Fuji, I'm not expecting to be a Sanyaku regular. I love his heart, but he's just facing wrestlers who are bigger and better than him right now. Nishiki Fuji might be a little bit hurt, might just be a little bit overwhelmed being this high on the Banzuke again. I think his true talent level is mid-Maegashira, so I do expect a losing record, but he's not going to go like 2-13. I think he will right the ship once he stops facing the very top of the Banzuke. And also looking very strong, my Judyo Yusho pick, Judyo 8, Ochiai. He's looking a little like the mummy with all the tape and bandages, and for someone so young, that's a little concerning, but can't argue with 4-0. We still have a lot of 4-0s in judo, and we're going to have to see how that shakes out around day 10. We also have a few 0-4s that I'm very worried about down in judo, but we'll talk about them in a second. My prediction that Maegashira's 1 through 4 were not going to do well is pretty much panning out at this point. Takayasu, of course, went Kyujo right before day 1, so he hasn't even been there to do anything. And amongst the other 7 wrestlers, we only have 6 wins out of 28 possible matches. So, whew, and half of those belong to Ura. So, as expected, a lot of carnage at Upper Maegashira, and I sort of expect that to continue. It's not going to be as bad once they start facing each other, but it's going to be pretty bad. I'm worried about Takakeisho, which is weird because he started 3-1, but he's lost to the only Sanyaku member he's faced, and this is a very wide and deep Sanyaku. Remember, he's got to get to 8 wins to clear Kataban, and frankly, he's not looking that great. He's only had 1 match, and it was against Midori Fuji, the smallest person he's probably going to face. That was the only match where he got like his rhythm going into his general wave action sumo. And today he henka'd against Endo, and I'm not sure I've ever seen Takakeisho henka, so that tells me he is not fighting his best, and he is not at all optimistic about his normal bag of tricks. So we'll see what happens. There's still an outside chance he gets to his 8, but I very strongly expect if he gets to that 8, he's going to be out as soon as possible. He does not look Genki. Also, 2 Maegashira looking pretty bad at 1 and 3. Maegashira 7, Tamawashi, and Maegashira 17, Kageyaki. Ooh, both of these guys are veterans. I mean, Tamawashi is like a decade more of a veteran. But both of these guys look hurt. I mean, they're not uninspired. They have a lot of fighting spirit. But they do look hurt, and they're not fighting their best right now. In the case of Tamawashi, I thought we might have 1 or 2 more good tournaments out of him. But right now, what he is showing is just a lack of power. So we'll see if he manages to gain some of that back in week 2. But I'm not that hopeful. Guys in their late 30s in sumo don't tend to power up the later we get in the tournament. I'm also worried about a number of former Makauchi favorites who are down in Judio who started 0 and 4. There are a bunch of them. Judio 2, Azamaryu. Judio 3, the sweet baby Lotus Prince Enho. Judio 5, former Ozeki, Tochi Noshin. Judio 9, Chiyonokuni. And of course, everyone's favorite beefy piano player, Judio 12, Tomikaze. All of these guys have started 0 and 4. I think it's fair to start an Intai watch for guys like Tochi Noshin, Chiyonokuni, and Tomikaze. So if you guys are fans, start watching some judo, because I have a very, very bad feeling about this being their last tournament. Tochi Noshin especially. He's going to need, I think, at least 4, probably 5 wins again to stay in judo. And the way he has looked, I think 5 wins might be a bit too much for him. In fact, of all the guys I mentioned, Enho's the only one I think might be able to stay in judo for, say, more than 3 more tournaments. All these other guys kind of look toasty. Done. Of course, 4 days is a very small sample size for a tournament that lasts all 15 days, so we will see what happens. I will see you guys later on in the tournament, hopefully around day 10. But until then, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and I will see you next time on the Dohyo.